We're going to just put a little bit of the shea butter on our hands. Okay, so make sure you guys lean on this table. Make sure that you are using the table. And so on here now, I'm going to grab a little more just to get us going. So we want to warm up the body. It's a little chilly here. So we want a little bit of a glide, but not much. And we're just going to warm the body up, get the body used to us. Now you can see how the shea butter already starts to stick. So you're just going to warm the body up. And in deep tissue, it's always muscle. You guys aren't going to be doing bone, right? So always the meaty part of the muscle is what you're paying attention to. You're going to find when you guys practice with shea, it really is sticky. So if you want to get back into the holly, you can get back into the holly. But you're going to see here, it glides a little, but I have control. Where if we use the holly or the grapeseed or the olive or whatever, we're not going to have as much control. Okay, so you want to work a body for warm-up for about 3 to 5 minutes. And if a person wanted to, nothing's saying that you couldn't help them warm up through the sheet a little. Do feathers. Because if we're not going to glide, if you're going to use a shea butter, you're not going to glide. So there's nothing saying that you can't use the sheet. Okay, so we're going to do effleurage. You're not going to be able to do it with the shea butter. So you guys can practice to see if you like the shea butter better, or if you want to try it with the holly. Now with the holly, it's going to be like any other oil, and you'll have a little bit more grip, like sliding ability. See how different it slides. But if you really want to work an area, the shea butter gets in there better, and you have more control, and you'll see the difference. So we'll just keep warming her up first. Now, while I'm warming her up, I'm also trying to pay attention to what moves, what doesn't move, and see how the skin glides over the muscles, and over the bones. Like you can see how with her scalp, how the body moves, and it's supposed to move. You want the body to move. Now, as I get in down here a little bit, it doesn't quite move quite as easy as her shoulders do. So, and we want to make sure that the other side can move just as easy as that side does. We want to know if the muscles can move on her back the same. So we're just checking out. Just checking. Warming her up. Making sure that she's not too tight anywhere in particular. Okay, you can get into feathers, into an effleurage. Okay, pressure should only be about 2-3 at the moment. We're not really going too deep. Some of you guys know Reiki, and you have permission from your client. You could turn on your Reiki or your energy. Warm up those hands so that they're more in a healing. Nothing saying you can't do open seas. Of course, you could move around on either side of the table too. All right, so with it now, we're going to get into the individual hand movements. So palmar glide. Palmar is your palm, and you would have a glide. Make sure that you're using the table, and your hand is on here. Now, a double hand glide is both hands coming and reinforcing and gliding. Now, right now, I'm not going deep. I'm just going medium. But deep palmar. Now, if I want to try to get even deeper, I'd go in at a 45. Okay, so I'd make my arm go a little more, and then I'd be up here a little, leaning in. I'm not at the second because she's not quite warmed up for it. But you're going to go in, and then you would start to glide. Okay, so palmar glide is with the hand, deep would be going in. So if I'm doing more of a Swedish mood, I'd probably be from here going. If I'm going to do a deep, I'm going to go in so that I have some weight and glide with it. Thumb stroking, you have it where your thumb can go in both directions. Okay, so stroking, fanning, and then kneading. So like you're, kneading like a cat kind of thing. You're getting in here and kneading. A flat glide, I'm still using the table. And she breathes. I can get into circles. Fist, if I'm going to get in, you have supported fist, so you can have it a few different ways. You can have it so that two hands are getting in there, and then you're using the ulna. Later when we get into knuckles, we'll be doing other ones. You can have, so depending what you're going to work, and again, depending what you're going to work. So when you get deeper, you're going to put a little bit more body into it. When you're just warming them up, you're going to back off a little bit. Okay, friction, you can go side to side. Compression would be putting pressure onto the person. So if you want to get into something, where you might want to do it is more in the hip area and that. But then if I wanted to, I can, get in here. Forearm glide in here. So getting in and using this to move it. And you can tell that her oil's already soaking in because I'm starting to kind of go against her here. So we'd want me to have a little bit of stuff on here too. Okay, deep elbow glide or elbow glide. You can have it where it is supported, or it's just in here and you're moving it. Okay, so supported, you just lock it into your hand, get into the elbow. Right now I'll just do it lightly, and then the elbow would glide. You can do stripping, where you're actually feeling like you want to strip that muscle. You can go a little more with the muscles, or if you wanted to, against the muscles. Okay? So with the elbow, you can also do circles. And again, deeper, if I was leaning in. Okay? Right now I'm not. I'm just showing you what it would be like if I was going to put weight on her. Okay? If I wanted deep, I'm going to lean in, and then my body would go deep. All right. With all those different moves, then what we're going to have is, there is a system that you can use, and you would go deeper and deeper and deeper as you're going down. So I would have done the warm-up, okay? So if I want to do the warm-up of this. Now, if I'm paying attention to her muscles, so if we know that she has kind of muscle area in here, she has muscle area in here, we know that the muscles here kind of go here, coming out, here, coming out. She has muscles, that are attaching into the arm and the sides. She has muscles that are coming in here, coming up. So there is muscles all over. So what you want to do is pay attention to how the body wants to move. Like if I move sideways, these muscles can move sideways. So that's not an issue if I want to get in there. So what I want to do though is pay attention to where she might have tightness. And as I feel, she has some tightness up more in here. So if I have to choose where she has it, it'd be in here and in here. So first with the hand, we're just going to do a fast hand glide. Pick a muscle that you want to kind of work with, or an area of that kind of similar. Warm it up. And then what you want to do is start to slow down. And then when you're going to go deeper and harder, You're going to go up at a 45. You're going to give her some weight so that you're getting up, and probably right now I'm into about 7-pound pressure. To get into a 9, there would be probably about a 9. Now, because she's loose and it isn't that bad, she won't feel it quite as much. But if she was tight, it would hurt more and more and more. So from the hand, then what we're going to do is thumb movement. So we're going to work it with the hands, then we're going to work it with the thumbs. And you can see that it's starting to get more pliable in here. The skin seems to want to move better. And then we're going to do side to side. And then you can go up. Now this is where you have to make sure that your nails aren't too tight. Now I can feel that, and Chancellor, Stephanie, can you feel it? Yeah. It's kind of clicking in here, like there's a muscle that I can feel that's moving with me, and usually they can feel it too. And so you just kind of go over it lightly. But we know then that that muscle is where we probably want to pay attention to. Okay, knuckles. We're going to do a flat glide. I'm still using the table. And she breathes. We can get into circles. Now the hyperemia, where the blood comes to the surface, would be normal. So that would be okay. Just means that this area knows that I'm working it. Then with the ulna side glide, now you will do a little different pressure for different sized bodies. Her body, one, it's loose. 2, she's not that big, so I don't need to go quite in like I would with a big man or something like that, because if a man has oodles of muscle that I'm trying to get through, I might have to give more pressure for it. Now if you feel something funny, just give it a little love too every once in a while. Friction, you can go side to side, kind of wake that area up. Okay, forearm glide. Of course, for those of us that took table shiatsu, there's a lot of table shiatsu stuff in here too. I'm holding on to the table, I'm leaning on the table so that I can put some weight on, but not all my weight on, and that I'm not just holding myself up too, so that, you know, like I don't want to fall and I don't want to hurt myself. Okay. And then we're going to breathe, because now we're going to do elbow. So breathe. Go again, breathe. Now we can feel, she can probably feel it too, where there's the tightest spot is right in this area. So what would happen is I would work those, so hand, thumbs, knuckles, forearm, elbow, okay, that you can do. And that way, not just one part of your body's always getting sore, you're using different parts. Move on to somewhere else. So maybe now I'd work onto the other side, and then if I want to, I can come back. So if we were doing, like for your side there, we would, on your shoulders where it's harder on one than the other and a little in the front, we would try to work then the one side first, warm it up, do all the stuff on it, come over back to the other side, work it a little bit, and then if we wanted to, go back into there. Then when we turn the person over, maybe we have to do some front work on it too. Now this here, she was pretty loose to begin with, so it wouldn't be as much pressure that I would have to give her. It wouldn't have to really hurt her in that way, but some people, like in yours, it might hurt. If it does hurt, get the client to breathe. Just say, blow out, take a breath, take a deep breath, warn them ahead of time that you're coming in there to move it, and have them breathe. Okay, and then you would just keep going, just like you would Swedish, each area of the body. And if I wanted to, there's nothing saying I can't get into, karate chops or any of the Swedish moves. You can do any of the Swedish moves too. And you can also get into the European lymph drainage and start to, do some of that too. You can, come back to the head and finish up with some nice moves. So just because we're finished the body and we've activated it doesn't mean that we can't give it some nice finish kind of thing too.